Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newark Municipal Council special meeting. Madam President, I'd like to begin with we have one interview for an appointment. Will Ms. Micheline Davis please come to the podium? Oh, let's see how to start.
Good morning.
Three.
Please state your name, and as the clerk has indicated, you are here for confirmation of the mayor's nomination. And if you'd like to have a statement, please feel free.
Thank you so much. Micheline Davis. On behalf of RWJ Barnabas Health, I would like to say thank you so much to each and every member of this council. The work that you lead in this city is that which we are hoping to emulate really in the space of healthcare. I know that on yesterday, each one of your offices received a letter from me thanking you for the opportunity to be considered and really speaking to the important issue that housing and homelessness play in healthcare outcomes. We are hoping that together we will be able to resolve this issue for this great city in order to ensure a healthier, brighter outcome for the community.
Any comments from the council members?
Madam President, I just want to say, Ms. Davis, thank you so much. It is such an honor and a pleasure to have you serving on this commission. We are very familiar with your work, your successful work, and your dedication to the state of New Jersey, but Newark particular specifically. And so we thank you for just taking another role here in our city, adding to your already workload. And we're just honored to have you serving and helping us, all the work that you do here for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Councilman Quintana.
I just want to thank Ms. Davis because she has really been a bridge between Claremont Hospital and the city of Newark. Claremont is in Belleville, but we have come together to understand that there is a city of Newark. Before there was no understanding there was a city of Newark. So I want to thank her for that direction. And since her relation, we have established a good relationship now with Claremont. We have established a lot of things for our community. So I want to thank you for your leadership from Barnabas and always concerned about the issues that affect the citizens of Newark. So I thank you so much.
Thank you for your leadership, Councilman.
Mr. Clerk,
Madam President, I just want to thank Ms. Davis for her ability to do all the things that she does and be able to volunteer even for the city of Newark in another capacity. I know that you are involved in a lot of things in the city of Newark and with Barnabas Health, and I wish that everybody in the city would do its part or her part to bring the city to the next level, as you do.
Thank you, Councilman.
anyone else? Certainly, I would be most remiss if I did not say a word or two about this candidate. Her heart belongs to Newark. I'm going to say that again. Her heart belongs to Newark. And as a result of her love for this city, we have benefited greatly through the healthcare system that in which she serves. Personally, she is one of the most caring individuals. There are people who, once they get to high places, they forget the rest of us. This is not true. She talks about and me too, she interacts with those who are in the highest realm, but also cares about those who are, and this is why she's being appointed to this committee, for those who are the least of these. And I thank God that the mayor in his wisdom selected you to be a member of this commission. Mr. Clerk, I would like to be known as the sponsor of this candidate. And seconded by Councilwoman Ivor.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Let's hold until we do the
Oh, yes.
meeting.
Absolutely.
Is Mr. Douglas E. Serini in the chamber?
Yes,
Thank you,
he
Ms.
is.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
There he is. Dougie.
Take over.
Okay.
Would you just state your name for the record, please?
Douglas Serini.
Mrs. Serini, you have been nominated by the mayor for an appointment to the Commission on Homelessness. Do you have a statement that you wish to make to the council before they begin their questions?
I also would like to thank the council. I've had the opportunity of working in the city of Newark for over 35 years, and I think like you, the goal was always the same, to try and make this city the best it could possibly be. And I want to thank each and every one of you for having the opportunity to work with you during this time. I've, for the most part, have spent a lot of my time on economic development, but I've also been involved with some of the social programs here in the city. And we have a challenge, and the challenge is trying to help those who perhaps are a little bit less fortunate than us, and perhaps we can find a way to help them. So that's my goal, that's my desire, and I look forward and hope I have the opportunity to work with you on this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman
Mr.
Amador?
President, with great reservation, I'd like to be the sponsor of this.
Like to be a second? By the way, Doug Serini indicated that he would spend 2 weeks, and that every commissioner on the homeless should spend at least a week or two at a shelter, out visiting it and being a part of it. And I think that's something that we should look into. Just don't be on a commission. I think we should be visible and visit and be a part of something that is important for those that are in that need of our community. The service of being a commissioner is very important. So that was just on a joke note we had before. But Doug said that really we should do more in terms of the appearances of what the shelters look like and what it should be and what we should do to those folks that really need that assistance. From and the commissioners, you bring a lot of wisdom and you bring a lot of knowledge to help us with this concern and this need at this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I think the council vice president should.
Yeah, I recommend that the council vice president does do the same.
All right.
I'll second that.
Well, why don't we do this? Every member of the council.
Absolutely.
Mr. Clerk, before we move to the next candidate, I apologize for having to excuse myself, but don't leave. I want to say a word about the second candidate as well. Doug Serini has been a blessing to the city of Newark for more years than I actually really count, because then that might give you a hint as to my real age, right, Doug? But I've never known him to say no. I've never known him to say no. And so I certainly want to thank the mayor in his wisdom for selecting you to be appointed to the Commission on Homeless. People look at you and probably say, why does he want to do work on a commission that has literally nothing to do with your lifestyle? But that's because, as I said about Miss Davis, you care for the least of these. You always have, and I know you always will. So, yes, when the roll call comes. We have one.
Mr. Kevin E. Taylor, are you in the chamber?
Yes, he is.
Please step to the microphone. Please state your name for the record.
I am Kevin E. Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, you have been nominated by the mayor for an appointment to the Commission on Homelessness. Do you have a statement that you wish to make to the council before they begin their questions?
Yes, please. My name is Kevin E. Taylor. Good morning to each and all of the members
morning.
of the City Council, and I am blessed and honored to be before you to receive this nomination. I am a 20-year resident of the City of Newark, born in Washington, D.C., but I tell anybody who asks me, I will surely die in Newark. I am the Director of Administration for the Turning Point Community Services Service Home Shelter, which I have been for the last 5 years. For the last 2.5 years, I have been the Chair of the Executive Committee, and I run the Essex County CEAS with pleasure and honor. I agree with the statement that each of the members of the Commission should spend at least a week in a shelter, because I do so every day. And I do so proudly because suited up and well-voiced as a pastor here in the city, often the women and especially the children look at me thinking I know nothing of their experience. And so it's a blessing to tell them that I was them, raised in not a shelter, but a homeless housing project in Washington, D.C., where my 4 brothers and I shared a 1-bedroom, so mother had her own space. And so that they can see themselves in me and see some pride in being able to grow up and grow for this city is why I am honored to serve on this commission. I think that Newark is a bell tower in these United States, and I think we're about to show them how to do it and do it well by feet on the street and hands in the dirt, and I'm proud to do so.
Thank you.
Any comments?
Madam
Yes, Councilman Ramos?
I just want to thank the administration for nominating Mr. Taylor to this position. I've had the privilege of working with him as the chairman of our Cease committee at the county, and he's not only a tireless advocate, but he's someone who understands a lot of the resources that we have. He's very familiar with a lot of the resources that we have available throughout the county to serve our homeless, but he also has a very good understanding of where the gaps are, and hopefully as a member of this commission he can kind of strengthen the relationship between some of the county services that are available and also some of the resources that the city of Newark is now investing to provide services to our homeless. So I just want to congratulate you, Kevin.
Yes.
Anyone else? Councilman Gonzalez.
Thank you, Pastor, for your ability to serve the homeless and the city of Newark.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
The mayor has hit 3 home runs this morning. You're the 3rd. Thank you so much for all you have done, and I'm excited about what you will do. Congratulations.
Very kindly, Madam.
Yes. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Madam President, before we proceed, I would like to bring up Mr. Aaron Wilson.
The tax assessor?
Yes.
Where's your crutch?
Madam President, thankfully I'm getting better every day, so.
You're making progress.
Making progress.
Mr. Wilson, would you just state your name for the record?
Absolutely. Aaron Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, we have an appointment request from the mayor to name you as the tax assessor. Do you have a statement that you wish to make to the council before they begin their questions?
Yes, I do. And good morning, Madam President and honorable members of the council. I grew up in Maplewood and been around Newark for all of my life as a child, and in my professional career I've only had 2 years where I haven't been working in some capacity for the city. And to be able to see the city improve year by year and to be a part of that, it truly is an honor, and I appreciate the consideration of the council and absolutely do my best, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Comments? Yes.
I haven't seen your resume, but I understand that you were representing the city as an attorney with tax appeals. How long did you do it, and for, let's say, for what firm did you do it?
Well, Councilman, I started with John Lloyd, who was at the time with Noel Amoroso, and I worked for John for a couple years before going into plaintiff's work for 2 years.
Oh, no.
So you were doing the tax appeal process for the city of Newark before you were appointed to the position?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Madam President, I
Yes.
just want to say that we don't have a resume that was provided to us, but I am familiar with the candidate. Usually, a recommendation for appointment is accompanied by a resume, but I understand the urgency of the city having to appoint a tax assessor. We've had a vacancy there for quite some time, and it's important for us to ensure that the city is represented and protected by having someone serving in that capacity, and this candidate is definitely qualified. But I will state through your chair and the clerk that we never consider appointments unless we have a resume
I agree.
available, so.
Madam President, if I may follow up with,
Councilman,
in this case, we have been forced by the state to appoint someone because the candidate was not in a was acting, and you can only be acting for a certain number of days, and I believe that we have exceeded those days, so that's why we have been presented with the candidates on a rush basis.
Well, and also, Councilman, I am a tax attorney. I'm also a state-certified general real estate appraiser, as well as being a certified.
Oh, I know that you're qualified.
Thank you, Councilman.
that's not in question.
Thank you, Madam President.
Certainly to, where's Corp Counsel? Oh, maybe the VA. I didn't see the VA.
Yeah, Madam President, Eric
Yes.
Pennington, Business Administrator. With respect to the indication that there's a lack of a resume, we have previously...
Have it now.
Finally got it.
Oh, all right. No, well, you just got it today, but it was also presented to the council before when we first brought Mr. Wilson up. And without making him blush, since he's been here, he has done an extraordinary job. In the first month that he was here, he added at least $1 million per day to the tax rolls and has been diligently working to pursue...
Mr. BA, could you speak into the
Yes,
microphone?
I'm sorry. I'm saying Mr. Wilson has done a fantastic job since he got here. We previously provided the resume. I apologize that it's just getting to you again now. But since Mr. Wilson has been in this job, and he's been here now since when?
November 10th.
Since November 10th. In the first 30 days that he's been here, he added approximately $1 million per day to the tax rolls by just looking back at the records that we had, by evaluating the properties that had not been appropriately assessed, by looking at where we could do added assessments and making the appropriate adjustments. And he's done an outstanding job, and we commend him to you without reservation. And I hope that if the council has any questions, they ask them of Mr. Wilson or of myself, and we'd be happy to answer them.
Council.
Did you want to say that?
Yes. I just wanted to say welcome, Mr. Wilson. We are delighted to have you. We did have your resume. We just got it up here to us, so definitely our apologies about that. But we are delighted to have you and welcome you here to the city of Newark, and we're looking forward to great things. It's a pleasure to see you, you know, kind of hopping around here with us. But just welcome to the city, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm honored to be here.
In spite of an administrative error, and it really was an error in not getting your resume before us, before we were required to vote, but we're not going to hold that against you. We'll hold that against the Office of Corporation Counsel. I've had the opportunity to watch you in operation. And, but not only that, your staff likes you. That makes a huge difference to me. So in anticipation of a positive outcome of your vote, I say congratulations and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Madam President.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hop back to your seat.
20 years ago, we didn't have this. There were no cell phones.
Madam President.
Mr. Clerk?
Let's open the formal meeting. In accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice has been provided to the Star Ledger, the Jersey Journal, and to the public at large establishing the date, time, and location of this meeting. May I have a roll call of those present, please?
Here.
Present.
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 Here. Here.
Here.
Madam President, the first item on the agenda is ordinance on public hearing, second reading and final passage. 6 PSNF-A is an ordinance establishing salaries for various positions within the city of Newark. Is anyone present that wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
Ms. Parker?
Lisa Parker, resident in Newark. No one deserves a 38% wage increase retroactive to July of last year. Why? When your union workers are not given a 5% salary increase and a cost of living in their contracts. When retired fire and police have not been made whole with their health insurance for 2 years. When you violate the Hatch Act, the Taft-Hartley Act, and the Faulkner Act guidelines for government and union employees. When persons receiving raises have already received increases through executive order. When our dirty water is worse than it's been with lead, acid, and cloudy for 2 years and more, and it hasn't been corrected. When you have people receiving raises that don't have credentials, experience, or acumen in the job, you don't deserve a raise. Not because of cronyism, nepotism, or whatever isms you want to call it. When our elected officials have been irresponsible and made poor decisions in spending our tax dollars. When our taxes are not putting more police on the street, crime is not at its lowest in 50 years. If you want to be called a public servant, then start serving the public and not special interests. When we have safer, cleaner streets, when you have corrected the dirty water and the high lead levels in the cloudy water and poison in our community, then, and when you make union employees whole with their salaries and benefits, you then will serve the interests of the public. Why is the mayor receiving, in lieu of reimbursement on this added starter, that he should receive a quarterly payment of $7,500 in addition to receiving a salary increase? When are you going to start serving the constituents of this city? When are you going to start answering questions about our dirty water and giving us data on a quarterly basis of how our money is being spent? When are you going to stop settling lawsuits because of abuse of power, intimidation, and all the other things that you've been settling lawsuits for? When are we going to stop spending our money on all of these lawyers to represent our elected officials for their poor decisions? No one deserves a wage increase until you fix our dirty water and you make our union employees whole.
No other speaker?
Any other speaker? No one appearing.
No other speakers? Motion to...
Mr. B.A., would you take this opportunity to come to the mic to correct any impressions, comments that have been made? And certainly mentioned how long it has been since the mayor and his administration has received a raise. It's ridiculous.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Eric Pennington, Business Administrator. Again, as provided at the last council meeting, as presented at the last council meeting with respect to this ordinance, information was provided that for the vast majority of the administration, there have been no raises for over 12 years. And with respect to the union...
Could you repeat that again?
Yes, there have been no increases for the administration for at least 12 years. In the case of the mayor, it's a little complicated, but it's been more than that. The prior mayor made more than he did. The current mayor took a decrease in salary, which was imposed upon the current mayor. So the current mayor has made less than his predecessor and his predecessor's predecessor. It is long overdue that the administration is appropriately compensated. With respect to the union members, we are in negotiation with the union But if we look at the union increases over the same period of time, the union increases have been at pace or better than what is proposed here. We expect to negotiate in good faith and reach an appropriate resolution with the union as we move forward. And there is no denigration with respect to how we think about the uniformed personnel who work for the city. They do an appropriate job. I'm sure that they're dedicated, and we intend to work toward a reasonable resolution in that capacity, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Ramos.
like I've said in the past, I don't have an issue with the administration setting salary ranges. It's actually very typical for local governments to set up ranges for, key staff, namely directors. We are setting the salary here for the mayor, for the clerk, for the deputy clerk. Those salaries are set via this ordinance, but by the council voting today on these ranges, we're doing something that, again, is very common and typical for a lot of municipalities and local governments. This doesn't, I just want to put on the record, it doesn't give the administrator and the mayor a blank check to issue, adjustments and raises. I really believe, like I've told the administrator, that salaries for directors should be set based on, the size of the organization that they lead. Not every department is created equal. We have some departments within the city government that are very small, and then we have some departments that are very large. And to me, those directors that oversee large departments with big budgets, should have higher compensation than those directors that do not have it. I requested at the last meeting that any adjustments in salaries for staff who are defined via this ordinance, this council should be notified in writing every time there is an adjustment made. And if there are raises that are considered in the future, it's also my recommendation that those raises be in line with whatever across the boards the administration has agreed upon with our collective bargaining unit. So it should be an average of what our city employees have been committed to via their contracts moving forward. So I believe that this council should be notified in writing if there are adjustments made in the salaries. I don't believe that every department head should be treated the same. There are some departments that have a lot of responsibility, a lot of employees. They have large budgets, and their salaries should be set accordingly. And the council, via this ordinance, is setting the salaries for 3 positions. The mayor, the city clerk, and the deputy clerk, and everyone else is pretty much within a range. And it is my expectation that the business administrator is going to be very cautious and conservative in how we proceed in identifying, where the directors and other staff people fall within these ranges. And I also want to say, Madam President, like I did at the last meeting, and again, I don't want to violate any protocols or policies. And we talked a little bit in executive session, and I'm hopeful we have an opportunity to talk again in executive session about where we are in negotiating our contracts with our remaining unions that are outstanding. I believe that, the city has an obligation to act in good faith and more importantly, ensure that, those men and women that work on behalf of the city of Newark, are receiving, the, proper compensation and representation, and that at the same time, we're in a position as a city that we recognize that we're trying to strengthen the city's financial position, and hopefully that means that we're in a better position to ensure that we settle some of these remaining contracts. And I know the administrator's focused on that. We talked a little bit in executive at the last meeting, and I'm hopeful that after today's voting session, we'll have an opportunity to discuss it again.
Councilman Amador.
At the last meeting, I abstained on this issue. And after spending a day like yesterday, where I met with some folks that are ready to invest in the city in a heavy way, and also tomorrow I changed my mind, but I still have some reservations about the changes that are being proposed or the increases that are being proposed in some of these positions. I don't have a problem because I think that this city is moving in a direction where we have to attract the best talent that we have, not only in the state of New Jersey, but outside of the state of New Jersey, to move this city to a different level. Case in point, for example, is the tax assessor. Because of the range that we're proposing, I'm sure that that served as an incentive for Mr. Wilson to become the tax assessor. Again, I have some reservations about some of the positions that are being proposed and some of the increases that are being proposed. And I have reservations also on the fact that we are establishing maximum salaries on certain positions, and on others, we are proposing a range which will allow whoever is going to make the decision in the future to propose an increase through an executive order. So those are my thoughts. Again, in looking at the entire list, I wonder why, for example, aid to the mayor, there's a range from 90,000 to 140. That's a huge increase. That's a huge range, and that is part of my reservations. Again, if we had the ability to separate these issues and bring forward the fact that we're increasing certain positions where we have serious needs on, I would have absolutely no problem. And based on the fact that we haven't had a raise proposed in 12 years, I would have no problem whatsoever. But there are some positions here that I have some reservations about, especially the range.
Mr. Clerk?
And Madam President, could we get just the BA to clarify that a range is a range? So the intention of the administration, from my conversation with the BA, is you're not moving everybody on this list to the maximum on the range, correct?
That is correct, Councilman. With respect to the range has the stated intention of what Councilman Ramos indicated earlier, and that is that there are certain jobs that require more oversight, more diligence, a larger staff, more complexity, and there are certain objectives that each director and those who are on this list will have to meet. To the extent that they meet and or exceed those objectives and have a department that warrants a larger salary, that will be imposed. Conversely, or not conversely, but consistent with that, is those departments that are smaller, are less onerous, don't have the same impact, or have a less experienced director, or may have objectives that may not have been met, then the range will be applied accordingly. And so, no, it is not the expectation of this administration, and it's the representation of the BA as it stands in front of you, that not every person is going to go to the top of the range. The expectation is that the vast majority will not go to the top of the range.
Let me thank Councilman Ramos and the BA for the clarification.
This is a follow-up to the
so
BA.
That, particularly for those people who are watching, to understand that this does not require or even make it mandatory that they be given the maximum. There is the word range that's right there.
Madam President,
Council President, there's
follow-up to Eric.
There's no requirement that there be any increase, but Council.
Is it an accurate statement that the majority of the positions on this list, the people that currently occupy these positions, their salaries currently are within these ranges?
That's accurate.
Madam President, let us not forget that with the increases that we're voting on today, the expectations will rise.
That is true, but we're not voting on increases. You're voting on a range, so yes, but I agree.
Council President?
Councilwoman?
I just wanted to thank the administration for creating this. I know when I came in, we had our budget hearing. We were talking about the budget and talking about salaries for staff and just trying to streamline salaries in general so that we weren't doing things case by case. And as an HR professional, it's very important that we have a guideline like this so that we're not doing things case by case or based off who is who for salaries, that we have some type of base guideline. So I just want to commend the administration for this. And it's something that people say in the business or any business, if you're in HR or running any establishment, is that you get what you pay for. And so these ranges help us attract qualified people to these positions so we get the best service and accountability for our city. And I think Councilman Ramos mentioned this at the last council meeting regarding this and today, that this is not unusual to have ranges for positions. And it doesn't mean people are getting a 30% increase. That's not what this is saying. This is creating ranges. And once again, we have to keep we have to keep saying it so people understand it, because there are a lot of people out there saying that we're voting on raises today, and that's not the case. And so I hate to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but we got to keep doing that because people keep putting out the wrong information. But I do want to commend the administration for this. I think this puts us in the right direction, the 21st century direction, especially when we talk about recruiting and moving our city forward realistically. So thank you.
Mr. Clerk? The public hearing is closed, my dear. The public hearing is closed on this item.
Really?
Mr. Clerk?
Who closed the public hearing?
The public, yes, it closed before you came in late.
Closed that, Mr. Ken? Ken, did you close the public hearing?
No, he didn't. I did.
No. Ken Lewis, is the public hearing
Yes, ma'am, we announced the closing public hearing. We were about to do the roll call.
So did you close the public hearing is what I'm asking.
Motion was to close the public hearing and adopt.
But did you close it is what I'm asking.
Please take your seat.
No,
No,
Ms.
please
Crump,
take your,
you
the
cannot-
public hearing
Ms. Crump,
is
I'm asking a
closed.
question.
You got your answer.
When was it closed? That's all I'm asking.
The public
I got a
hearing
right to speak.
is closed.
When did you close
You need
it?
to get some manners.
No, you need to get some.
The public hearing is closed.
First of all, you need
No
to
one
stop
else.
intruding on people's right to speak.
Escort her out.
I asked the question to.
Officer.
Yes or no?
And it was only for
Madam President, we have not done the roll call, so if you wish, we can continue. We have not done the roll call, so we have not officially closed it.
But we announced that the public hearing was closed.
30 minutes.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Public hearing has been closed, yes. Just before the council members began asking their questions of the business administrator.
Please stop responding. Please stop responding to Ms. Bomani. She'll be here before the mic again. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item.
6 PSNFB is an ordinance for, a bond ordinance for the school system at the request of the administration, council of the whole to table. at
Roll
this
call
time.
to table.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Resolutions. Resolution 7R1A is an authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration accepting a gift, a license agreement. Council of the whole?
Council as a whole.
Yes.
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 7R2A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development declaring an area in need of redevelopment. Council of the Whole to adopt?
Yes, sir. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
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 Madam President, let's go to the added starter pages. 7R1A is a labor agreement which would confer lifetime health benefits to non-represented management confidential employee. Council of the Whole to adopt?
Roll call.
This is to one,
Any,
is this to one person?
Yes. Yes, sir. Roll call.
Is this connected to the
Just a
salary?
moment.
The salary increases? We just voted
I'm
on?
under,
This
go
is,
ahead.
Councilman,
Yeah.
this is a separate item. What we are doing is compensating for the fact that there was a break in service for this candidate, and this will allow the city to proceed with his health benefits at retirement.
Yes.
Have we ever done this before? Who?
He was being paid by the sheriff's office. Yes.
Lifetime benefits?
Everybody gets, after 25 years, everybody gets a lifetime benefit.
He was a cop for 25 years already.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? They're reminding me.
And I think,
No.
I think that the fact that he was being paid by the county,
Yes. Thank you. You may not, yes, please.
Good morning, Council. Keisha Daniels, Personnel Director, City of Newark. There is precedent. Back in 2002, we did something a little similar for employees that were displaced at the Housing Authority, and we allowed them to add that time for longevity, seniority purposes. So this resolution is in line with that. We are just adding to the time that he served the city and other cities contiguous to Newark that benefited Newark.
Madam President, could I just,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels, so you'll verify on the record that this particular employee, Mr. Ambrose, does have or will have the 25 years of service as
Yes.
required for lifetime benefits?
Yes, Councilman, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
No problem.
Mr. Clerk?
Roll call.
yes.
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 7R8A is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk attesting that by the Municipal Council, the review of the city audit. This is the annual process. There will be the attestation letter for your signature shortly.
This is for year 2017.
Yes,
Yes.
that was the latest.
It's retroactive.
Right. Right.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes, I'm sorry.
And we have the resolution for the tax assessor. 7R4A.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
All right. Let's hold that until we get to the appointments. Let's go back to the agenda, page 6. We have 8A is Appointment to the Commission on Homeless. Council President Crump wishes to sponsor, second by Councilwoman MacGyver. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Gotta go down to Serene.
On communications, 8A is an ordinance amending Title II Administration, Chapter 4, General Administration. This would establish the option of an annual allowance in lieu of expenses for municipal elected officials and the option to receive the annual allowance in lieu as expenses or salary supplement. This is for the mayor only.
Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam President, is the in lieu of amount the same that it's been for the mayor over the years? Does this represent an increase, or, I'm not sure. This is something that just popped up on the agenda, so I had a few questions.
Councilman Ramos, my understanding is that it would be $30,000, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure if that is the same or an increase. If it's an increase, it's minimal, but I'm not positive. I can get that information, though.
Yeah, and the other question I would ask is that the council also has in lieu of, and if the option is being presented to the mayor, why wouldn't it be presented to council members as well?
The in lieu of? My understanding is that we're moving to incorporate the in lieu of into the salaries for the council members.
So this essentially would give the mayor the opportunity to take the in lieu of as part of their salary as opposed to, the traditional expense account?
Yeah, that's possible, but my understanding is the law requires that if it's offered to one individual in a class, in a salary class, they must all take it, and so that's why the council has been treated a little bit differently than the mayor.
Yeah, I'm interested in whether or not this is the same in lieu of amount that the mayor's been authorized in the past, or does this represent an increase? That's important in order for me to consider moving this forward. I'm not trying to impact the progression of the legislation, but that's something that I would like your office to, through the clerk and the council president, to answer to us.
I can get that from Ms. Daniels now.
Mr. Clerk?
Madam President, if I may answer the councilman's question about why the council is not in this. Councilman, remember the report that was done by the comptroller, and one of the issues that they had with the council was the in lieu payment, and they have insisted that be removed, and so the process that we are, and this will remove the council from that process and hopefully satisfy the comptroller.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Are we going to advance and adopt on first?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the BA, and I lost focus. I apologize for a moment.
That's fine. If I could answer Councilman Ramos's question, the in lieu payment, there's an increase of $5,000.
Thank you. Advance
and adopt on first as 6FA.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Abstain.
Yes. Next item.
8C is an ordinance amending ordinance entitled "An Ordinance Creating Positions in the Office of the Newark Municipal Council and Establishing Salaries Thereof." Council of the whole.
Council as a whole and adopt.
Madam President.
Could I just mention that we we traditionally would have some extensive discussion amongst the council before something like this would pop up on the agenda. And I know there've been individual conversations, but we have not had, an opportunity to discuss this, and that's a problem for me. So I don't plan on supporting this.
Absolutely. First of all, I need an explanation on what this is all about.
All right, Council President, these questions are regarding the inclusion of the council in lieu in the salary. Is that your question, Council?
We already adopted that.
Okay.
So we must be talking about 8C.
So the clerk advised us today, which we were not aware, that the council's in lieu of was eliminated via the last ordinance. And now this particular ordinance is proposing to increase the salaries of the council members to represent the addition of the in lieu of, which many of us have used over the years to support different community groups and organizations. So this kind of stuff, again, it pops up the actual day of the meeting. We don't discuss this ahead of time. We have plenty of opportunities in executive session to go over this, and I'm not blaming the administrator because that's not his job. But as a council, these kind of issues have to be discussed and vetted out ahead of time. And for it to appear on an agenda at a meeting, I don't understand how this kind of stuff just shows up.
Madam President, I totally support that position, and I ask the members of the council not to vote on this issue. Let's discuss this in executive session and go over the details of this ordinance before we do make a decision.
So are we talking about 8C?
If I may say, if we don't advance on this, and we eliminated the lieu, we're forfeiting $14,000 of our salary. So I believe that whomever is opposed to it or is not in agreement with it should vote no, and the ones that wants to vote yes, to vote yes. Let's vote our conscience and move it or not move it.
Are you talking about 8C?
8C, yes.
I have to say this, I'm surprised because there has been an informal discussion among all of our employees who work very hard, who have never, some of our staff members have never had a raise since they have been employed. So how can we not reward them for the work they do? I find this, it's unacceptable. I don't want to go back upstairs and have someone say to me, you didn't support the staff, you supported the rest of the administration. I'm sorry. Everybody has to speak for their own actions, but for me and my house, I'm supporting the raises for the staff.
Madam President, the staff have nothing to do with these ordinances. This is council members. The staff ranges were set as part of the other ordinance.
It says positions in the office of the municipal council.
And the clerk can clarify. This is the council.
Madam President, the council aides have been covered in the previous salary ordinance that the council has adopted. There is a range established in that ordinance for aides to the municipal council. This is only for council members.
This is consolidating, Madam President, in lieu of
I got it.
Into salary. Let's say some people are going to be retiring eventually, and the salary that they receive now is $14,000 less than the pay that they receive. So for pension purposes, we are not let's say, going to be compensated for the $14,000 that we get in lieu of. What this does is that it increases the salary, so your pension is going to be actually based on everything that you receive.
So back to my original observation. It says, an ordinance creating positions in the office of the Newark Municipal Council and establishing salaries thereof. This says creating positions in the office of
That was the
the
ordinance,
Newark Municipal Council.
was the ordinance in 2001.
Now, I think I know how.
This, Madam President.
Is this an interpretation of what's written, or is this the reality?
This, Madam President, this is the reality. This ordinance takes the municipal council, it does away with the in lieu payment and combines it as part of your salary, and there is a slight increase attached to that, so that you will have a salary as a number as opposed to a range, as opposed to in lieu part of it, of its salary. This consolidates all of that into one salary. But the aides are compensated in the previous salary ordinance.
Madam President.
It's poorly written. I hate to say that, because I'm sure I'm not the only person who is reading into this something that is not of intent. So I'm going to be guided by the nodding of heads from my council colleagues and the request to vote. I shall not delay the vote. Mr. Clerk, please do the roll call.
Roll call.
We're advancing.
Advancing and adopting on first,
Yes.
6FB.
Commodore,
No.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
McCallum absent, McIver,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
No.
President Trump.
Madam President,
Yes,
President hasn't voted.
yes,
Madam President,
passed, yes.
during the Watergate incident, I saw an interview with a congressman at the time who said that, "Don't confuse me with the facts." This is a perfect example of that.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, the ordinance adopted on first reading today will be advertised in accordance with law, and a public hearing will be held at the special council meeting of March 12th, 2019, here in the council chamber, beginning at 10 a.m. 8D is the appointment to the Commission on Homelessness. Councilman Amador wishes to sponsor. Second.
Quintana second.
I was a second.
Louis.
I'm a second.
Louis, I'm sorry, Councilman Quintana, sponsor for Doug?
No. Councilor Amador sponsors second.
Roll call.
Commodore,
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
8E is the appointment to the Commission on Homelessness.
I'll sponsor Pastor Taylor.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And finally, 8F is the appointment of the tax assessor.
I'll sponsor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Osborne.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that all the properties in the East Ward are assessed properly.
I assist.
We are now in the public speaking portion of this meeting. This is a 30-minute period in which speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak. When you step to the microphone, please state your name and address for the record, and you'll see a small timing device on the podium in front of you, which will begin counting down your time when you begin speaking. When you reach the 2-minute mark, the yellow light will illuminate, indicating that you have 1 minute remaining for summation. When you reach the 3rd minute, the red light will illuminate, indicating that your time has expired. Please look forward, speak into the microphone. We are recording these proceedings, and if you turn away, we may miss part of your statement. Please address questions to the chair and not to individual council members. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak at this time?
Manira El Boumani. First, I want to say, I don't come here, I come here to empower and to engage the community, not for y'all, because like I said, we don't have no government here. Failed leadership, hashtag no other way to describe y'all. This administration, first of all, got enough problems with abuse of power lawsuits in the city, and guess what? Y'all don't have to pay for them. That's why y'all want to continue abusing your power, because y'all don't pay for it, the taxpayers do, right? So I respect people, real elders, not old people who are disrespectful, okay? There's a difference between an elder with high esteem and an old person that's disrespectful. So you want respect, you'll get respect. I want to go to the issues. I asked the question last time, is there a state monitor still in place here? Question. To the residents who are listening, Assemblyman Katori have a legislation about this very issue about padding elected officials, raising salaries, padding their pockets. Okay, so call a assembly person, call a comptroller, have them come in here and do an independent audit, okay, on this administration, because one needs to be done, okay? And also, I want to know why do some of y'all think y'all should get salary increase? Okay, where's the performance and where's the accomplishments? Because as we said, we got dirty streets, we got potholes, and people, yeah, they deserve a salary increase, but guess what? The state of the city is horrible. Potholes, poor municipal services, South Ward is a war zone, West Ward is a war zone, parts of North Ward is a war zone, contaminated water. The problem is doomed to be fixed, what, 8 years from now? Corruption at an all-time high, lawsuits at an all-time high, okay? So who needs a raise with ineffective leadership? We need to see some accomplishments here before you all get raises. Where's the performance rating? Can the residents see that? Okay, also, where's the budget? Where's the budget? When is that coming? Also, who came up with a 33% salary increase? And then to speak to the Homeless Commission, while y'all keep appointing people to commissions, people homelessness is increasing. While y'all training people in this city, the union members are out of a job. Y'all keep training and putting people, warehousing people or exchanging people on these commissions, but guess what? Homelessness is increasing.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
So where do y'all get raises around here? Nobody want to answer questions.
Dion McCutcheon, Newark Matters. It's two quick observations from this meeting. I'm fairly new at this. The first one would be, I don't mind if you guys get raises. I think it was mentioned that it was 12 years since the last one, if I'm correct. So, I mean, I don't mind that. Please, get all the raises you want, but deserve the raise. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, look within yourselves and really say to yourself, do I deserve a raise, or am I just occupying these red, I don't think they're leather, these red seats. They're not Italian leather, but I don't think. But, you know, am I really doing the best job for the constituents of Newark? I mean, really look within yourselves and ask yourselves that. That's number one. I mean, I don't care if you get raises, but do your job. Represent the people who put you in those chairs. Number two, the only other concern, not concern, it's just something that, it was about the Homeless Commission. And I think Homeboy said that he lived in a room with his, forget his, oh, actually his name is here. I think it was Kevin Taylor. He said he lived in a room with his other 4 siblings or something like that. That is not the same as being homeless, okay? And the North Ward councilman isn't here, but he knows very well. I was homeless for 2 years in this city, okay? And living in a room with your four brothers is not the same as living in a shelter, number one. Somebody made a joke about that. I think that Quintana said something about a joke, and we want you to come live in a shelter for a week or something like that if you're going to be on this commission. I don't think he wants to go to a shelter. I don't know how he's living, and I'm not even living that great, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to go live in a shelter. You know, and I've been in one of the better ones on 189 Clinton Avenue. On the third floor is the best. You got the view of New York. So, but I've been homeless, and actually because I've been homeless, I actually have some solutions to eradicating or definitely limiting homelessness in this city, especially from I wish he was here, North Ward Councilman, especially from an institutional standpoint. And going through the civil service, not civil service, going through the Division of Welfare, going through them. They're operating there on the fourth floor at least. Actually, the fifth floor as well. They're operating in reverse. The system where they're trying to help people who need their help for homelessness and getting their food stamps and stuff is backward. And I figured it out. I actually have a solution to eliminate that. I will be bringing it to his attention, maybe in something in writing personally. And actually, I'm in the process of writing something for you guys you know, I'm not going to go any further with that. But yeah, I was homeless, and because of that experience, I know exactly what the problems are and how to resolve them. So we'll see what happens in the next few months or so, or next year and a half. Later.
Thank you.
Good morning, Council. How are you?
Good morning.
How is everybody?
All right.
I only came up to speak today to remind the council, to remind their constituents that this month, towards the end of the month, there will be a school board meeting discussing the budget and an increase in property tax. And for the first time in 23 years, the residents of the city of Newark have a right to vote on the property tax, up or down. The first time in 23 years. That means they need to know about the meeting that they can attend to watch the school board discuss how much property tax will be raised. That means renters should also be there. Because if your landlord's property tax is raised, who's going to be hit with a rent increase but the renters? So you need to be present at that meeting, and this city council need to come up with a plan on how to notify the public and the property owners. For the first time, you will have an option to vote that up or down, and no one has put that out to the public. So I came to tell you it wasn't felt leadership, because Ms. Val said at the board meeting that she didn't have an opportunity to discuss it being on the ballot yet. So they have to discuss it with the chief counsel. Once they discuss it with the chief counsel, it has to go to a county for approval, and they're not going to know whether they're going to have time to notify you property owners that you have a right to come to the meeting, and that there will be a question on the ballot for you to be able to say, if you raise my taxes that high, we voting it down. But if you raise it this high, we'll vote it up. Why should the citizens be concerned? It's a form of gentrification, and it's a form that we don't always know that the school board raised our taxes to, along with the bond issue that was taken off the ballot today, because I really came to speak about that. But I'm asking you guys, I also went to each one of you council people to ask for an appointment. Amador saw me, Carlos saw me. I'm still waiting one for my South Ward Councilman, John James, to give me one. I'm waiting for the Central Ward Councilman, Eddie Osborne. I'm waiting for your office to contact me, and I did this almost 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago, sir? I think it was a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. But they did offer me, I did get my meeting, and so did Anibal. So, Councilman Amador spoke with me personally. Councilman Carlos Gonzalez spoke with me personally. Anibal spoke to me personally. I still hadn't heard from McCullough. Oh, and Mildred spoke to me personally. So I got to speak to them. I'm still waiting on you guys to set an appointment to meet with me so that I can speak to you. And it's only about getting the information out to your constituents about coming to that meeting in the end of March and then being able to vote on the tax increase, and
Yeah,
that's all.
that'll be done this week. Do you have a location, date, and time yet for the meeting?
Guess what? They haven't said that yet.
Are you serious?
They haven't said it yet. She said at the so tomorrow I'm going to, the regular meeting is tomorrow at 6 o'clock at South Street School, and there they're supposed to announce when the budget meeting is so that the community can come out and hear them discuss it and know what the property tax increase will be. But I guess they'll announce it tomorrow, but they didn't announce it at the business meeting because they haven't yet
Come up with
said
it.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's very important. I'm glad you brought that to our attention. First time in 23 years. We will stay on top of it, my colleagues and I, and, you know, as soon as we get a date, if you get it before us or vice versa, let's make sure we get it out there, because the residents and renters and landlords do need to know about that. Thank you.
And I just want to thank Amador, Councilman Gonzalez, and Anibal and President Mildred for meeting with me, and they told me the same thing, so they were very interested in getting it out to their constituents. And everybody in earshot, you need to go out and get it out. Thank you.
Excuse me, before you leave the podium, ma'am, would you just
And
put
don't forget to tell them, April 16th is the school board election. That's where it's going to be on the ballot.
Ma'am, before you leave the podium, would you just put your name on the record?
Oh, I'm sorry, Denise Cole, 2 Kier Avenue, South Ward Councilman John James is my council person.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Are there any other speakers?
It's not made for me.
Good morning. Kevin Stretch Simpson, President, Newark Firefighters Union, 238 Murray Street, Newark, New Jersey. I wish everybody was sitting in their seats, but I'll just go on with what I have to say. First thing I want to do is I want to congratulate everybody for their, you want to get up? Thank you.
I'm ready. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, to those who are in the chambers and to those who are watching, let me apologize for the interruption in the flow of the day. We will be having an executive session immediately at the close of the regular meeting to further discuss personnel issues.
Good morning. I was going to congratulate those that got raises voted on today, but it's not raises, it's
Salary range.
Salary range.
Salary range.
yes. So congratulations to those that received those today, and I wish the 3 people that joined the team were still here so that I could personally welcome them to the team, but they're not here. So, but I welcome those 3 people that were nominated for positions earlier and welcome them to the team. On August 21st of last year, I hand-delivered a personal letter to each and every one of you, and in my letter, I outlined the condition of firehouses, the condition of apparatus, and a downward spiral of contract negotiations. Since delivering that letter, at close to 150 of my members not being paid correctly and or being owed monies dating back to January of last year. It's shameful how the payroll system works in this city. A handful of you reached out to me, and we spoke since I delivered those letters, and I appreciate you reaching out to me and doing what you did for me. I stated in my letter that if it comes time when I'm standing in front of you at this podium with this mic in my hand, addressing you as a whole, it's gone too far. And here we are. It's gone too far. I hear the word love spoken a lot from council members and people in this administration, how much they love the city, they love the workers, they love the fire department. I was speaking to my aunt on Sunday, and we were talking about different things. My aunt is old school, 84 years old. You know, she was part of NCC in the beginning and New Community. You know, some of the people on these walls she dealt with, you know, before they got on the walls. And what she said to me was, she said, love is an action word. Love is not a feeling, it's an action. It requires effort, and it gets reflected in the way you treat people. I'm not upset that I was lied to or misled early on in negotiations, but I'm disappointed that I can't believe the words that are said to me from now on. So in the spirit of thriving for excellence, from this point forward, I will no longer trust words. I will only trust actions. Imagine if the firefighters gave in return the level of love that they're receiving from this administration. How would the citizens of the North, South, East, and West wards feel if the level of professionalism they receive from us equaled what we receive from this administration? We uphold the oath that we swore in spite of the dilapidated conditions of the firehouses we call home while on duty. Is there a plan to fix these firehouses? We uphold the oath that we swore in spite of the outdated, broken down vehicles provided to us every day to protect the citizens and visitors of this city. Is there a plan to update the aging fleet of apparatus? We uphold the oath we swore in spite of the constant payroll issues that occur each pay period, where in some cases have caused my members financial hardships, and I have one or two sitting over here today. Every January I have members that go backwards in pay, yet the issues go unresolved, and all I get is attitude and unanswered emails. Is there a plan to fix and update the payroll system, including PeopleSoft, for the city of Newark? It's time that everyone be held to the same standards of performance and the same level of accountability that the Newark Fire Department is held to. It's time to walk the walk. We as the Newark Fire Department deserve better from this city and this administration. Thank you.
Thank you. Comment?
No other
Mr.
speakers?
Clerk?
You wish to go into an executive session?
Yes.
Council as a whole to enter an executive session.
Roll call for executive session.
Amador?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Callen, absent. MacGyver?
Yes.
Osborne?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
President Trump?
Yes. We're going into executive session.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into an executive session. Unless you are part of the discussion that will follow, I ask that you please step out of the chamber.
Make sure the man gets his check on behalf of the council president myself.
Oh, yes.
$64,071.31 for Passaic Valley.
But Mr. B.A.,
We are on air.
That's a check. I'll refund from Passaic Valley.
We are on air, council members.
Councilman is the,
This is gonna pay for the legal fees we have to spend to sue you guys to get the money back.
Can't discuss that with me, sir.
I'm not, I'm just discussing it in public.
Mr. B.A., I just want, Mr. B.A., Mr. B.A., Mr. B.A., Mr. B.A., I'm waiting for Mr. B.A. It should have been 75,000, and I'm going to, yeah, it was originally supposed to have been 75,000. So I don't know why they took the 10,000.
They're going to defend us.
Council of the whole to adjourn.
Council as a whole to adjourn.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. MacGyver? Osborne? Quintana?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
President Trump?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'll have a statement to you within the hour.
Oh, my.
Emails.